Hello and welcome everyone, this is Trinity Storm and you are watching 8th and final part of What If Naruto Was Revan's Descendant. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Tsunade returned to Konoha 3 years later, working in the hospital to heal the injured and making sure the doctors painfully remembered their Hippocratic oath. Jiraiya had given Naruto access to his spy network, despite the fact that the Namikaze had told the Sannin it was outdated, which the man didn't like hearing, but after the demonic force user told him the names of his spies, their locations, and occupations. Well, it wasn't hard to dispute. So Naruto took the spy network, assimilated it into his own, improved it, and so on to ensure that such a valuable resource was carefully preserved. At the same time, Iwa, Kumo, and the Akatsuki had been breathing down the former Jinchuriki's neck for various reasons over the previous 3 years. On Iwa's side, he was the son of Namikaze Minato, then Kumo wanted him because his mother was special because an Uzumaki was rare, not to mention taking Yugito away from the Raikage, and finally the Akatsuki wanted him for Asta. Naruto would not allow either of the three sides to get what they desired for whatever reason their hearts desired. If anything, Naruto was dead set on going to war with each of them, causing them to suffer such horrific losses that they would never want to fight him again. But the third Hokage wouldn't let it go until now, which irritated Naruto, and for the 3 years since Tsunade's return to Konoha. The Namikaze had held back his hand. Until, finally, after Iwa dispatched 2 Anbu suicide assassination teams directly to the Namikaze Estates, which were immediately destroyed, the long-line descendant of Revan could no longer hold back and began making plans for them all. The Sandaime pleaded with him to hold off a little longer, but Naruto was unafraid, and it didn't help that the majority of Konoha didn't care what happened to his slowly growing family either. When word spread that Uchiha Sasuke had died at Naruto's hands, the people demanded his blood, only to die at his hands or be imprisoned for their rioting. Tsunade and Jiraiya warned Naruto not to act hastily, but their words were ignored. If you truly cared about me, my family, or the village as a whole, you would not be attempting to avoid the inevitable. You would be assisting, planning, and even training for the upcoming war. Those were Naruto's words to his godparents, as he had spent the 3 years since Tsunade's return secretly preparing for the war and all the parties involved. Naruto knew the Sandaime wouldn't let him go fight them all right away, but that didn't mean the Namikaze couldn't get things going for them because Iwa's actions, and later Kumo's actions, would not stop. The Akatsuki wanted him for Asta and the other Jinchuriki in the elemental countries for whatever plans they had for the Biju. With that in mind, Naruto directed his spy network to learn everything he could about these 3 factions, from the total number of shinobi forces in Iwa to the locations of each of the other Jinchuriki in Kumo, and who was who in the Akatsuki. Naruto even dispatched HK-47 to assassinate the Akatsuki's own spies while connecting Zabuza and the Demon Brothers with the Water Country rebels opposing Yagura's cruel bloodthirsty rule. Terumi Mei, the rebel leader, was grateful for the assistance and fell in love with the Demon of the Mist right away. That's correct. Terumi Mei was the new Mizukage, and she fought and defeated Zabuza for the title. The poor man had no chance. Naruto married every woman in his life, from Asta to Anko, and Hinata to Sabaku no Tamari herself. Yugito was able to free Nibi from her body using Naruto's natural ability to understand seals, and the 2-tailed Biju pounced on the man moments later. They must have rutted for hours, with Yugito dragged into it once she regained some sense of equilibrium after having Nibi removed. She had no regrets about it. Not at all. When it came to the other Jinchuriki, Naruto had his spies track them down to their known hangouts when they weren't in the village, and he secretly visited each one. Han and Roshi both desired to be free of Iwa's cruel control as a result of the village's harsh treatment of them. Unfortunately, Iwa had Anbu check on them every few days, and the Namikaze's arrival coincided with one of those days. When an Iwa search party arrived to find out what happened to the Anbu, all they found were bloody chunks on the ground and Roshi and Han missing. Of course, Iwa later discovered Naruto had taken their Jinchuriki and were furious at this act of war. As a result, they dispatched Anbu assassination teams to Konoha in a concerted effort to exterminate the Namikaze and remind Konoha that Iwa was not to be taken lightly. As for Naruto, he was busy changing everything by freeing the Biju from their human prisons, which surprised the Biju, who expected the young shinobi to demand something in return. Naruto surprised them by saying he was doing this to bring about peace, to change things in the elemental countries, and to give the two Biju a chance to return to the demonic realm using his knowledge of the Force, and asked his assistance in creating the necessary portal using her own demonic chakra. Both Biju, who had previously been sealed into Iwa shinobi, accepted the offer and thanked the Namikaze for his honorable action, as well as their undying respect for him. He had the opportunity to wield unimaginable power, but he let the two Biju go without hesitation because he did not see them as weapons to be used for his own personal gain. When word got out about what Naruto did, Iwa, the Akatsuki, and many Konoha residents who believed in the ways of the councils were not pleased. Kumo was terrified by this point because the Hokage didn't want to lose the Biju in his little brother and had decided to back off in their pursuit of the Namikaze if he tried. Iwa, on the other hand, would not be denied the justice that the Tsuchikage believed they deserved for their current losses, and they set out to make the Namikaze pay. Naruto had ensured their failure each time. The bodies of their shinobi were sent back in pieces, the Namikaze clan's mark on the bodies, and yet the old cage-running Iwa was too stubborn to give in to the Namikaze. As the third year came to a close, Naruto had had enough of their actions and decided to put an end to them. Forever. That's why Naruto was heading straight to Iwa. Walking in full battle armor, helmet on his head, weapons, and feeling completely prepared to cripple the village to the point where it could no longer be considered one of the 5 major shinobi villages. The Tsuchikage had sent him a message a week before, demanding the return of his lost Biju and that the Jinchuriki hosts face proper punishment alongside the man for carrying out the means to free the tailed beasts. They even had the audacity to demand the women in Naruto's life as additional compensation, threatening all-out war with Iwa if they were denied. Naruto would never allow that. When the Akatsuki reforms, it will be stretched thin trying to get the remaining Jinchuriki from Kumo, Taki, and the Three Tails. It was the reason Naruto secretly informed Kumo in the first place that the organization was pursuing Killer Bee and that the Hokage was not involved in this matter. At the same time, Naruto vowed not to let Iwa have those he loved, and vowed to bring Iwa to her knees. As a result, Naruto was now standing in front of Iwa's gates, lightsabers at the ready. "HK, are you available?" Naruto spoke into his helmet's communication system. "Of course, Master. I've arrived at my destination, where I've determined your position is best guarded and ready to fire from my own at any time. Simply issue the command, and I will slaughter all the meatbags in my line of sight. I can almost feel the electricity running through my circuits in preparation for the upcoming bloodbath," HK-47 said, holding his sniper laser rifle from his vantage point on a rock formation he had calculated was the best place to shoot from without being discovered. "Excellent. Your targets are shinobi of medium to high rank." Naruto exclaimed, "The Tsuchikage is mine to deal with on my own." Before using the force to rip open the gate doors and quickly kill the guards with his lightsabers now activated. "Oh Master, the gift of killing so many potential meatbags on your order has made my memory core glow, and I will carry out the order with deadly accuracy," HK-47 said, as days like this in killing so many were rare, and the droid intended to savor this attack for years to come. Naruto simply smirked at HK's remark as he entered Iwa, its shinobi deploying from all over to engage him, and the droid, from his perched position far outside of Iwa, began firing deadly shot after deadly shot at any Iwa shinobi who got in his crosshairs. The action perplexed the Iwa shinobi long enough for Naruto to slice through his enemies who got close enough to his lightsabers to strike them with swords. It was a complex death dance to which the Namikaze was a well-known dancer, as screams of pain, agony, and finally death sung in the air. Some tried to fight back from a distance, but Naruto used the force to redirect their jutsus or turn their weapons back on the Iwa shinobi. It was a massacre. Simple as that. Tsuchikage. Empower, 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 empower M, prove you are worthy of your station and fight me, said Naruto before slicing an Iwa shinobi's arm off, followed by his head, and kicking the body in the chest, causing it to fly into another shinobi attempting to move in for close combat. I'm here, you Namikaze brat, exclaimed the Tsuchikage as Naruto fixed his gaze on the elderly man standing across from him. Hello, my name is Darth Shi. A name you will say before your death, said Naruto before he engaged the old man in combat. Ha! Do you know how many shinobi have said that? During the last war, your own father attempted to murder me. I barely survived, but even he failed, and I don't see his son succeeding anytime soon. Rock Golem! Exclaimed Tsuchikage before the old man summoned a massive being made of rock that charged Naruto, intent on breaking every bone in the man's body. I'm not my dad. I'm not yourself. Something far more powerful, exclaimed Naruto, sending the rock golem flying back over the old Kage's head with the force. We'll see how that goes. Water style. Water trumpet jutsu, exclaimed Kuratsuchi as she aimed her water jutsu at his flank, but was stopped by the blonde's force strength, which held the attack in place. Know your place, said Naruto before sending Sith lightning with the water all the way to Kuratsuchi, who was sent flying back and screaming in pain from the attack. You bastard! Exclaimed the Tsuchikage as he went through hand signs, eventually creating a rock golem 5 times the size of the previous one. For the record, you're not the first to call me that, and you certainly won't be the last, Naruto said before forming an orange-reddish ball with his right hand and launching it directly at the giant rock golem, the impact of the blast causing it to turn to nothingness. Die! Yelled Kuratsuchi as she leapt at Naruto with kunai in both hands, attempting to hit the Namikaze with them in a rare form of skilled taijutsu when using kunai in such a manner, but the Konoha shinobi easily dodged her. You first bitch, Naruto said as he ducked under one of the strikes, spun in a complete circle, and stabbed the woman in the stomach with his back to her before hurling the Tsuchikage's granddaughter into a building that collapsed shortly after impact. Kuratsuchi! Exclaimed the Tsuchikage, looking from the destroyed building to Naruto and glaring venomously at the Namikaze. Do not be concerned, old man. She is still alive and well. Almost dead, but still alive. Be grateful that I am feeling merciful enough to see your life end before hers, said Naruto, taking out various seeds and using the force to guide them to various locations around the old cage while laced with demonic chakra. Moments later, demonic plants rose from the ground, screeching loudly for all to hear, their vines thrashing wildly, and sharp teeth that could chew through solid steel were hungry for their prey's flesh. The old cage of Iwa attempted to repel them, but no one in Iwa knew except Naruto that these plants were sensitive to movement, and the more movement, the better. With the Sandaime Tsuchikage surrounded on all sides by thrashing plant tendrils, the man instinctively tried fighting them all at once, and it was through that action that the man became the prime target of Naruto's 3 demonic plants. He wasn't going to stand a chance. I'm not done yet, exclaimed Kuratsuchi as she struggled to stand, ignoring the wound that burned with such intense pain, and struggling to face the Namikaze for the sake of her family's honor. Only for Naruto to throw one of his lightsabers at her, ripping the woman's head clean off her body before returning it to his hand. You are now my dear. Tell your grandfather I sent you to him so he won't be lonely on the other side, Naruto said simply before summoning the force, more than he had summoned in a long time, and unleashing a massive force push that sent demolished buildings while injuring or killing everyone around him. It was completed. Iwa had become a shadow of its former self. Wasn't that an impressive display of power, Master? Are we done, or can I keep killing meatbags that survive? HK-47 said this while keeping his scope locked on the village and looking for any movement other than his master's. HK, we're done. We need to go to Taki next if we're going to successfully rescue the Jinchuriki there before the Akatsuki get her, Naruto said, deactivating his lightsabers and leaving Iwa. Ah yes. Another female demon vessel, similar to Kumo's. Will you want to mate with the girl after you return to Konoha with her master? Naruto grumbled in response to the droid's question, said HK. That's none of your business, HK, and if you bring it up again, I'll install a program that makes you want to dance in a field of flowers the moment your eyes see them, Naruto said, knowing how much HK despised such things. Right. This unit will drop the subject to prevent such a horrible nightmare from becoming a reality, HK said as he prepared to meet Naruto soon before their journey to Taki. Sometime later, forest outside of Taki. Jinchuriki, come on out. We know you're here fucking. Show yourself already. Exclaimed Hidan, cursing the fact that the target was not present. Where has she gone? Pain-sama said she was in the village today, Kakuzu said, feeling nothing for his old village after they had backstabbed him for not killing the Shodem Hokage years before. An impression on the planet. Shit. That will not deter me. The great blood god Jashin will grant me the means to murder you. Hidan moved his scythe to strike Naruto immediately, but the Namikaze easily stopped it with an armored gauntlet fist because the metal from it was stronger than the missing nin's weapon. Kakuzu charged at the Namikaze with full taijutsu, but Naruto wouldn't let him get close, and used the force to send the man flying through several trees. Hidan attempted to swing his scythe at Naruto once more in an attempt to draw blood in order to perform the Jashin ritual required to put the man down, but the Konoha shinobi easily dodged the strikes, even getting through the missing nin's defenses and kneeing the man hard in the ribs, with a few breaking from the cracking sound heard. It was quickly followed by a swing of Naruto's lightsabers, which quickly beheaded the Jashinist and cut him in half at the waist. Your god is insignificant in comparison to the powers of the Force, Naruto said as he shot the man with Sith lightning, turning the corpse into a mangled wreck that wouldn't heal anytime soon, and turned his attention to Kakuzu. Bastard! Exclaimed Kakuzu as she attempted to defeat Naruto with his years of taijutsu experience, but the Namikaze was too fast, too skilled, and too damn strong. And an ah of ah is sleeved. The missing nin attempted to flee by using his arms to maneuver himself, but Naruto didn't give him a chance, and took them off before going for all 5 hearts the man needed to live. Kisame, Sasori, and Deidara are now all dead per your order, Itachi said from behind him, and Naruto turned to Jiraiya's new spy in the Akatsuki. I'm leaving Konan, Pain, and Madara behind. Did you inform Pain about our connection? What have I done with some of the Biju to stop the organization's plans? Naruto said, as Itachi nodded. Via a shadow clone in case he tried to kill me. He wasn't happy at first, but with most of the Biju gone, Madara's plan is pointless, and Konan was able to remind Pain that an Uzumaki does not betray another Uzumaki. They're willing to talk to you about joining Konoha to rebuild the Uzumaki clan because Madara is secretly controlling AIM, despite the official story of the village being ruled by Pain, Itachi said as Naruto nodded. Send a shadow clone to him that I will handle Madara myself. Tell him to go to the Leaf and speak with Tsunade because her grandmother is of Uzumaki descent. Plus, I'm aware of his current physical condition, and she can assist him with his legs, Naruto said, with Uchiha nodding. How about my own situation? Itachi inquired. That depends on you, Naruto said, seeing Itachi reflect on his own life. I do not wish to be a part of Konoha anymore in terms of returning, but that doesn't mean I am not a loyal shinobi of the village, and will fight for it should the need arise. I'd like to start over somewhere else, Itachi said, seeing Naruto nod. I can sense it with the force. I can see into your future. There are so many possibilities. There are so many options. Though one future stands out a little more than the others I'm seeing about you, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow at Itachi. And that would be? Itachi asked, seeing Naruto turn to face him. Visit Spring Country. I'll use my contacts there to make sure you get an audience with Spring Daimyo Koyuki. I sense the two of you will do a many great things together if given time, said Naruto, since he had HK-47 assassinate the tyrant Dodo, who was Koyuki's asshole for an uncle mere months after Tsunade's return, and allowing the rightful heir to take the throne with the Namikaze's droid, removing any would-be Doto want-tobes that were high up in the government the man had built around him. I will. I'd like to apologize for what happened to my brother. He has too much of my father in him, Itachi said, slightly concerned that he couldn't read Naruto's face due to the young Namikaze's helmet, and wondering if the man was scowling at him for bringing up Sasuke after so many years. Itachi, I accept your apology. However, there is no need to apologize. Sasuke lived an arrogant idiot's life and died an arrogant idiot's death at my hands. No, you do not. You see what he couldn't and wouldn't. You see the world through an open mind, whereas Sasuke sees it through a narrow one. You don't think the world should always cater to the Uchiha clan's whims. Sasuke thought otherwise and thus paid the price for such selfish views, Naruto said, seeing Itachi nod. Good luck, Naruto-sama, Itachi said before bowing and leaving the Namikaze to his own devices. In my experience, there is no such thing as luck, Naruto simply stated before proceeding to aim, where Itachi had provided a way to enter the village and go beneath where the Madara would be waiting. It was past time to put a stop to this. The underground lair of AIM Akatsuki. This is unbelievable. Madara exclaimed to himself after learning that all Akatsuki members were either dead or had betrayed the organization for ostensibly greener pastures. This was unacceptable to him. He would not let this happen. The fact that several of the Biju had been successfully extracted from their hosts without killing the human vessels and sent back to the demonic realm beyond his reach made things even worse. The Moon Eye plan was a waste of time. Completely ineffective. That is why you fail, Naruto said, emerging from the shadows and staring at the man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara. Naruto Namikaze. Your unexpected arrival should not have surprised me. Itachi most likely told you where the Akatsuki's headquarters were, and now here you are. Madara resisted his dislike for the boy's surname and the fact that Itachi was a spy. Of course, she says. From the beginning, he was never on your side. Itachi is a fantastic actor. He has a calling in the movie industry, if only he would show more emotions and stop being so serious, Naruto said as Madara scowled at him from behind his mask. You're not going to win, boy. Just because some of the Biju have vanished doesn't mean I can't reclaim them. Madara defiantly addressed the Namikaze. Desperate words from a desperate fool, Naruto said simply, as Madara narrowed his one visible eye at him. How do you intend to bring me down? You are only one person. You are nothing without Kyuubi, and you will die nothing. Madara remarked, while Naruto simply chuckled. Do you believe that? The strange thing about me is that there are so many me's. Naruto chuckled, and the massive underground room soon echoed with a hiss. Sound from an army of shadow clones armed with lightsabers. You think your shadow clone army can stop me? Ha. I could easily leave this room in an instant and start over somewhere else. Madara stated confidently. Even if you did, I will easily track you down and kill you, Naruto said as if it were the simplest thing in the world. Will you kill me? You dummy. I am infinite. Namikaze, do you know what that means? Time doesn't hold me back like you do. Unlike you, I can wait 100 years to get what I want and make this world mine. Yelled Madara, madness visible in his one visible eye. Are you that afraid of death? Inquired Naruto. Me? Are you afraid of death? Ha. I'm not afraid of anything. Declared Madara before a pain gripped his heart. It felt exactly like the Shinigami's icy hand. If you don't fear death, why are you on your knees in front of me? Said Naruto as he used the force to strike the one vital organ that Madara required to live, which was second only to the brain in importance but just as important despite its lower ranking. The heart of man. Despite Madara's claims to be immortal, the man still required his internal organs to function, despite his Sharingan eyes granting him such powers, and without them, the man was a corpse. He would die if his lungs were removed. If you took away his heart, the man would die. For Kami's sake, if Naruto stabbed the man in the brow with a lightsaber, the idiot would die. Speaking of stabbing stupid bastards in the forehead to kill them. This is not something you can do to me. I will not allow it. My destiny will not be denied to me. Madara attempted to escape using his teleportation vortex jutsu, but screamed in agony when one of his eyes, the one exposed from behind the mask, exploded violently, and removed the orange spiraled facial shield to look up at the Namikaze towering over him. Madara, it is your fate to die here. Nothing can alter that. Naruto was about to strike the man through the skull with one of his lightsabers when he noticed the man laughing at him. Perhaps not, but I know some information you don't about your precious Sandaime Hokage, and it pertains to your life, Madara said, seeing Naruto carefully gauging him in case this was a stalling tactic. Speak what you need to say or I'll end it now, Naruto said as he noticed the man grin up at him. The Sandaime Hokage has been playing you since the beginning. You believe the man genuinely cares about you. He allowed you to suffer on purpose, knowing that the attacks you endured as a child would eventually lead you to your long-lost home and the secrets that lay within. He was already aware of your power and how it would eventually lead you to the Namikaze Estates. So he sat and waited. Madara observed Naruto's muscles tense in anger. Prove it, Naruto said simply, but he detected no deception from Madara and narrowed his eyes behind his helmet at the man. I really wish I could. But you have to wonder why the Sandaime Hokage did what he did, and why he suddenly takes your side only when the village is on the verge of annihilation at your hands with the Kyuubi. He's using you to eliminate his enemies, who were limiting his movements within after the loss of your mother, and then Konoha's enemies abroad when your mentality was called into question, and you became a hunter nin to relieve the stress of being the Leaf Village. He had you strengthening it internally for the past 3 years, bringing his 2 students back into the fold for training a new generation of stronger Konoha shinobi who would be subject to his rule as a result of his newly acquired youth, which you gave him. The Namikaze narrowed his eyes even more as rage burned out of them, said Madara. Prove it, said Naruto, tightening his lightsabers in a cross formation around Madara's neck to the point where any closer would force the Namikaze to cut off his head. Do you need proof? Fine. The Sandaime keeps a diary. Everything he's ever done is documented. It's his own personal trophy case of achievements. I know because I read them while sneaking into Konoha to gather my own personal information about the Leaf. It's hidden behind his own portrait in the safe, guarded by seals he had his late successor ironically make to protect it from harm, and can only be opened by someone with Hokage blood in them. A security measure to ensure that only people who agreed with his way of doing things in Konoha could access and learn from it. Naruto is displaying a great deal of rage right now, said Madara. Have you read it? You do not have Hokage blood in you. Naruto said this with Madara smirking up at his soon-to-be killer. If you're curious, I drank your blood. Given your early childhood, you left quite a bit lying around, and one drop is more than enough. Madara simply stated that he had witnessed numerous attacks on Naruto in the past. If what you say is true, the Sandaime Hokage will be joining you in hell very soon, and they will share something in terms of who sent you there. Naruto said this before slicing the man's head off to prevent him from responding. He appeared to have one more foe to smite. Several weeks later, Hokage Tower. The Sandaime was tense. He has every right to be nervous. His plans had worked out perfectly, even better than he had hoped given his restored youth and the fact that he was now physically back in his prime. His two errant students were in Konoha. The councils had returned the majority of the governmental powers they had taken after the Yondaime's death, and Naruto had recently returned the seven-tailed Biju in a human vessel's body to Konoha. There was only one issue. Naruto is a ninja. More specifically, a report of the Namikaze's tragic demise that had yet to reach him, and one he could use to inform the demonic boys' wives in order to further manipulate them into revealing his secrets more openly. For years, the Sandaime had tried to persuade the Yondaime to reveal his secrets to himself, and Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, had given up after Minato stated that half of what was in the house was unusable to the majority of Konoha. The majority of Konoha. But not to any of the Namikaze offspring he knew these women were now caring for as a result of Tsunade informing him of the news. It didn't matter whether Naruto knew or not at the time. What mattered now was taking advantage of the Namikaze's current absence, even without a report, and informing the pregnant women that they were better protected under his watchful care until the children they would bring into this world were born. He would then have some of his most trusted shinobi kidnap them, stage a kidnapping, set off a few explosions, and pretend that the children were killed in the fighting. But he had to act quickly. The Sandaime Hokage moved to the door, leaving his office, and preparing to forge a new age for Konoha with loyal Namikaze children as the pointy tip of the sword he would wield against the world, putting together some papers he had forged to make it appear as if the Namikaze perished fighting the leader of the Akatsuki. Power, knowledge, and resources that were previously unavailable to the Sandaime would soon be at his disposal, along with powerful tools used in his name. Only when he opened the door did he see Namikaze Naruto, his lightsabers embedded in the Anbu guards on either side of the doors, which were quickly recalled to the Namikaze's hands. The shock of seeing Naruto alive was enough for the Revan descendant to realize Madara's words were true, and he used the force to send the Sandaime back against the wall before throwing him behind the Hokage's desk. Naruto. What exactly does this mean? Said the Hokage, though the killer intent emanating from the Namikaze instantly silenced the third. As if you didn't already know. And you will now refer to me as Darth Shi until I kill you. Naruto said this before taking a vial of his own blood and throwing it against the wall where Sandaime's portrait was hung before throwing it off with his power. The vial shattered, the blood smearing on the hidden seals, and the safe that Madara had told him was there appeared. The Hokage was sweating bullets by this point, having seen Naruto use his power to remove all of the information from his well-protected safe and bring it to a shadow clone he made before his copy left the room. How did you find out? Asked the Sandaime, his gaze narrowed at the Namikaze. The Akatsuki's true leader. He felt the need to spite Konoha, and you in the process, before he died. I must admit, I didn't see you as a threat, let alone a good manipulator, because everyone had made you their bitch in your old age and tied your hands. Only after seeing the big picture did I realize how foolish it was to let you live this long, and I will now make amends, said Naruto, his once old, now young Hokage ready for a fight. You're talking treason against your Kage, the the Sandaime observed Naruto tilting his head to the left. When the Kage is guilty of treason, the act of treason against him is the inverse of treason, and is, in fact, justice. Naruto assumed his fighting stance, and the Hokage scowled at him before summoning Enma. Sarutobi? What exactly does this mean? Enma was perplexed. Naruto is committing treason against me here. Enma, I need your help right now to defeat him before it's too late. Naruto scoffed at Hiruzen's words. You speak of my treason, but does your summons know the truth, and how is it the other way around? Enma frowned at Naruto as he spoke. What is he on about, Hiruzen? Enma observed the Hokage's scowl deepening. He's attempting to dupe you. Don't pay attention to him. He intends to dupe you. The Hokage spoke up, while the Monkey King seemed unsure. Are you being played? The Hokage is the one who has deceived and tricked us all. When Naruto noticed the Monkey King staring at him, he told the Hokage. How? Enma asked, while the Hokage's face showed he was getting angry. So Naruto told him. Everything was told to the Monkey King. Concerning the abuse, the Hokage's plan to bet on the horse that the Yondaime's son inherited force powers led to a path where almost absolute power came with the title. That all of its enemies were either dead or too weak to stand up to Konoha's plan to turn the future offspring of Naruto's bloodline into weapons for him to control. So, Enma the Monkey King, tell me something. Who is the trickster and who is the deceiver here? Said Naruto, seeing Enma glaring hatefully at Hiruzen while the Kage himself was considering his options. Hiruzen. This goes above and beyond anything Orochimaru has ever done. You purposefully harm others in the belief that it is for the greater good, when all you have done is consolidate your own power. It was never for Konoha's glory. It was only for yourself and your desire for more power. Enma spoke up as the Sandaime raged in front of them. So what if it was to gain more power for myself?
Konoha is my name.
I am its creator. I am the shinobi kami. It's all shinobi. Not only in the leaf.
I will rule this village and enforce my power over others, or I will burn everything around me.
Besides, look at what has happened to my actions since the plan was implemented, and decide for yourself.
Konoha hasn't been this powerful since the Yondaime took office, and Iwa was crippled several years later in the previous war.
No one can stand up to Konoha now that all of its enemies have been crippled beyond recovery and forced to submit. Nobody can stop Konoha from becoming the most powerful force in the elemental countries. With madness in his voice, the Hokage said.
No.
It is not Konoha who wields such power. It's just you.
The fact that Konoha benefits from such influence is solely because you were its current Hokage.
Not the other way around. Something I'm going to change right now. Leave us, Enma, Naruto said as the Monkey King nodded and walked away. I'm going to make you pay for it.
I'll sully the Namikaze bloodline's reputation.
I'll curse your beloved family long after I'm gone.
I'll even make the Kyuubi serve me, just as she did Madara years ago.
I'll have to seal her up again, this time in one of your offspring, to ensure the Jinchuriki is properly crafted. Said the third Hokage before entering hand-to-hand combat. Naruto leapt back, dodging each attack aimed at crippling him, with the Sandaime restored to full strength, ironically by the man's own hands, and from using the very life source that was the Hokage's own enemies he had within Konoha. Enemies who were also Naruto's forged the alliance to combat the evil that surrounded them. Naruto had no idea it was because of the Sandaime that these enemies could move as they did, and he had orchestrated things so that he alone would reap the majority of the benefits of the village's enemies falling at the Namikaze's feet. What a fool he'd been not to notice. Do you believe Asta will serve you? That any of the clan heads, Sannin, or Leaf Shinobi will continue to support a power-hungry fool like yourself? Never. Naruto stated as he pushed the Sandaime back and watched the man crash into the desk. And what makes you think that your reign as Hokage, if granted, will make you any less different than my own ambition? Are you saying you'd look power in the eyes and turn away? Doubtful. Said the Sandaime before performing hand signs for a jutsu, but was stopped when vines with sharp thorns sprung from the ground and wrapped tightly around his wrist, causing the man to bleed. It wouldn't be the first time someone of my bloodline passed up an opportunity to seize power. When I betray my principles for power, when I abandon everything I cherish, I will no longer want to live and will use what courage I have left with my honor to commit suicide. Naruto noticed the Sandaime struggling to break free, but the thorns from the vines made that impossible, and they only sunk deeper into the man's body, causing more bleeding. Naruto, you will fail to maintain the village's current power. The village will fall, and the people will blame you for not seizing ultimate power as I have, said the Sandaime before letting out a grunt of pain and looking down to see one of the Namikaze's lightsabers piercing his gut, followed by the second within the chest cavity. Unlikely. I have people I can rely on to keep me on track. A path you abandoned years ago, long before you retired. And, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Darth Shi. Naruto said this just seconds before beheading the man and fleeing the room. Sometime later, Namikaze Estates. Master, welcome back. Is it correct that the vile meat bag for a village leader who dared to manipulate you was brutally exterminated and suffered greatly at your hands? HK-47 said as Naruto removed his helmet. Naturally, Hong Kong. Would I treat someone like him any differently? With HK only looking at him for a second, Naruto said. Obviously not, Master. Humans are notorious for their vengeance. Though, when the cause is noble and true, as yours has been, there is no doubt that the meatbag who suffers will die in agony. I only wish I could have recorded the Hokage's dying screams as he begged for mercy, said HK-47, while Naruto remained silent on how the man died a relatively clean death without screams. I'll make amends, HK. Maybe we'll go looking for missing Nin in the future to help you satisfy your strange bloodlust. Naruto knew it would make the violent droid happy in his own psychotic way, so he said it. That is a fantastic idea, Master. Could I also suggest that we bring that Mitarashi Anko lady you adore? When it comes to her enemies, she has such a nasty violent streak that I almost wish I was a meatbag just to feel the various emotions you feel when she's covered in blood that makes one want to ravish her for hours on end each passing day. Naruto laughed as he said HK-47. I'll think about it, HK. How is Fu doing? Naruto could tell the girl was nervous because he had left her shinobi village. She's doing great, Master. She's already met Aburame Shino, and I've noticed the two becoming more interested in each other. I believe it is due in part to their connection to both the Biju in the girl and the insects in the boy, though my hypothesis could be incorrect with the two meatbags falling in love at first sight, though I would gag if I had a mouth. Naruto let out another chuckle as he said HK-47. Don't put too much emphasis on them, HK. They are not a problem and should not be considered one in the near future, Naruto explained, and the droid nodded in agreement. Master, one more thing. The females in the house had sensed your arrival after seeing the evil meatbag at the Hokage Tower, and they all seemed excited to see you up in the master bedroom. Lady Asta had requested that the bed be triple reinforced because your return necessitated a special celebration befitting Naruto victory, Kunz as she put it. This has led me to believe that the women in your harem or big family, intend to have sexual relations with you as soon as they enter the room. Naruto blushed as HK-47 said it, knowing exactly what he meant. I see. Thank you for the alert, HK. Given that information, you may need to go to the store later to ensure there is enough food for everyone, as well as prepare for a cleanup detail. Naruto looked up at the second floor, where the master bedroom was, and could almost feel the lust emanating from it through the force itself. Master, this has already been addressed and noted. This isn't the first time I've had to clean up after one of your sexual romps in bed with one of your family's women, HK-47 said as Naruto grinned and walked upstairs. A time of AP. For the P. Of the P. Of the P. Of one of the P. Did you consider the chaos if it was a small army of women? HK's eyes were glowing in a way that was the droid equivalent of a human's eyes widening, said Naruto. Oh my. I miscalculated. Oh, no. I'll leave you to your mission of sexually satisfying all those women while I go get some cleaning supplies that will undoubtedly be required once over, said HK-47, with Naruto waving briefly at the droid as he headed for the door, while the Namikaze himself headed for the bedroom to see all the women he loved waiting to ravish him silly. HK. You have no idea how busy you're going to be later, and I'm glad you can't hate me for it, thought Naruto as he was dragged into the room by Asta with her tails after regaining her demonic power sometime in the last 3 years and Anko putting up a sound barrier jutsu to keep the noise down. They did have neighbors after all. Epilogue. Naruto stood in the office where the previous Kages once ran the village in his place, wearing the Hokage robes and smiling down at the people below. The various pictures of the previous Hokages hung on the wall, but one of them had been removed, forever marked to be scorned for all time and never to be put back up. Naruto had told the clan heads about the Sandame's actions, how he manipulated things and Konoha's people, and he had proof that his words were not accusations. Even the old man's face on the Hokage monument had been destroyed, the Yondaime's face had been relocated to where its predecessor once stood, and Naruto's face had been placed directly after it. It was almost comical because now some people outside the village thought Konoha was one head short on the Hokage monument because Naruto was the 5th Hokage despite the mountain only having 4 Hokage heads. During Naruto's tenure as Hokage, he kept Konoha strong while keeping arrogance out of the village, which wasn't always easy, and had to beef up the Leaf's shinobi curriculum so there wouldn't be any weak shinobi now that his days as an academy instructor were long gone. Shino was looking after things there, using his own hive mindsets to protect Konoha as if it were one big giant hive with the Hokage of the village being the queen that commands it, though he told them it was king, because he was male. Fu was currently married and pregnant to the Aburame as a result of Naruto introducing the two, with both shinobi discovering they had a lot in common. One of them was their love for bugs, which Kiba thought was insane and had to pay for by being chased around Konoha by Fu until Naruto asked her to forgive the Inuzuka for being an idiot. She agreed on the condition that she hurt him at least once, which Naruto accepted because Kiba was an idiot, and the Inuzuka agreed. While accepting, he failed to notice the evil gleam in Fu's eyes, and Kiba collapsed in pain after the hit he took was aimed between his legs. Naruto-kun, it's time for Hanabi's wedding, Hinata said, reminding her husband of Hanabi's wedding to Konohamaru. It had taken some time for Hanabi to accept that her crush on Naruto was a crush on an extremely powerful shinobi. Konohamaru, who had faced ridicule from his peers for his grandfather's actions, found refuge in the man who had helped bring those actions to light and told the people that the Sandame did these things on his own, with the Sarutobi clan being innocent of any involvement in the fallen third Hokage's actions. That if anyone hated the clan, let alone Konohamaru, he would answer for it, and without mercy. Konohamaru himself thanked Naruto repeatedly while pleading to be the man's shinobi student. Seeing the boy's fiery determination, Naruto agreed while telling him that the training would be fierce, harsh, and at times, well, cruel. Naruto saw a lot of potential in Konohamaru and the Konohamaru Corps as he trained the boy. Hanabi tagged along because she needed to be with kids her own age, and the Namikaze decided to play the matchmaking game because the Sarutobi clearly liked the Hyuga girl. As a result, the two eventually married after several years. You know she'll never be able to forget her feelings for me. Whether or not Konohamaru is the better man for her, Naruto spoke to Hinata, who simply smiled and kissed him on the cheek. In the picture of the world. I know. I'm curious if she sees Konohamaru as a substitute for not being with me, Naruto said this while Hinata laughed. Honestly, for all your power. Hinata said, giggling again, and Naruto joined in. Hinata-chan, you are correct. I'm being a fool. Hanabi is content, and I'm not sure why. I apologize. Let's get your sister married to the perfect man, shall we? Hinata was laughing as Naruto said this. If Konohamaru was the perfect man in the entire village, I would have married him instead of you, Hinata said as the two exited the room. Okay. I understand. Come on, people. Knowing the kids, they'll be wondering what happened to us, and Anko will most likely tell them something sinister. Naruto knew that was Anko's style. Unless Tamari knocks her over with her iron fan. I sometimes wonder how you manage to put up with all of us, Naruto shrugged as Hinata spoke. I honestly have no idea. What I do know is that you are all in my lives, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, Naruto said this while Hinata smiled at him. Neither would we, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as the two walked to meet the others and spread even more joy.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.